I knew I was going to be a writer when I was 12 years old, and that was because I just finished a novel that I absolutely loved, and I had such an amazing experience reading it, and I got to the end and I wished that I could start all over again. And I wanted to recreate that experience for somebody else. I wanted to write a story where people got to the end of the book and were sorry that it was over. And I think for most writers, if you are a reader, if you're an avid reader, that is what inspired you to become a writer to begin with. You know, Stephen King actually has a very famous quote that says that if you don't have the time to read, you don't have the time or the tools to write. And I absolutely agree with that. You cannot be a writer and not be a reader. And I think it's by being a reader that you are inspired to write. I know that a lot of readers that come to my book signings who say that they find me to be an inspiration and they've just started writing their first novel, say that it's because they enjoyed reading so much that they want to write, and I'm no exception to that. I didn't choose the theme of sexual abuse when I started writing the Crossfire series. It actually came to me when I was writing another book of mine, 7 Years to Sin, which features a couple who also have abusive pasts. They were not sexually abusive pasts, but they both had suffered abuse as children. And that dynamic fascinated me. I did a lot of research into the topic. And in the course of doing research, part of studying about abuse is finding out about childhood sexual abuse, which is unfortunately quite prevalent in a very astonishing and tragic way. And I realized that that's a love story that I wanted to tell. Love stories aren't just for perfect people. Love stories are for everyone. And I want people of all different backgrounds and experiences to find a novel that tells their story. Right now, the Crossfire series is going to be 5 novels, and originally I had intended for it to be 2 novels. I figured that the first book would be Ava's story, and the second book would be Gideon's story. Halfway through the second book, when I realized that there was no way that I was going to finish the novel, the story of Gideon and Ava in 3 books, I contacted my editor and I let her know that it was probably not even going to be finished in 4 novels based on how much story I had left to tell. Really, by the time we get to the halfway point of Entwined with You, which is the 3rd book in the series, we're only just now finishing Ava's part of the story, and we haven't even scratched the surface of what Gideon's novel is. So it became apparent, and for fairness reasons, to instead of doing just 2.5 novels for Ava and maybe half a novel or 1 novel for Gideon, to do 2.5 novels for Gideon as well. So 2.5 and 2.5 is 5. There is a possibility that the 4th book will be published this year. Considering how long it takes me to write the book and how long it takes them to produce it, it's not a far-fetched idea to believe that the book will be out by the end of this year. As for what is my favorite scene from the Crossfire series, I would say it would be chapter 18 in the 3rd novel. And those who've read it know what that is, and those who haven't read it yet can hurry up and finish. Everyone wants to know about the television series too, which is great because of course I hope that we'll be seeing that shortly and that everyone will love it as much as they love the books. It's optioned by Lionsgate Studios, which of course is a very wonderful studio. They have the Twilight franchise and also the Hunger Games trilogy. So this is a studio who's extremely familiar with adapting books for visual medium. And I really honestly could not have picked a better studio to work with on the project. The lucky thing is I didn't pick them, they picked me. They have been fans of the Crossfire series for a long time. They were reading the books before they made the offer to adapt the show for visual medium. And so I'm really relieved that the project is in the hands of people who actually really love it. My role in the series is as executive consultant, which means that all of the scripts, which will be written by a screenwriter, will then come to me for review. I will be reviewing it, of course, for loyalty to the to the story as I wrote it. I do expect that there will be some adjustments that may need to be made for television, but for the most part, they anticipate that the series will follow the books very faithfully, and I'm absolutely certain that in going over the scripts that's exactly what we'll see.